Hello everybody and welcome to your Twin Flame Tarot reading. I'm just going to do one Twin Flame Tarot reading for the month of October just because of the intensity of the astrology we have going on right now. It's a very powerful and transformational time, and so I feel like in one reading I can really dig deep into these energies that we're all experiencing as a whole, and then directly focus on the twin flame. Now, for you guys, I have a rose quartz for the divine masculine energy of this reading, as well as a rose quartz for the divine feminine energy of this reading. And so my intention with these is to bring healing and love and understanding and clarity and communication, really heart to heart, soul to soul connection for you and your twin flame to overcome your challenges, to learn your lessons, to unite in a way that feels very loving and positive and doesn't leave so many of you feeling so empty and broken. So that is my intention for these, one for each of you. I will place the masculine right here, and then the feminine's rose quartz right here. It will be with us through the whole reading. All right, so currently we have Venus moving from Libra into Scorpio. Major transformational energy right there. And now Mars is hanging out in Libra until around like November 21st or so. So divine masculine energy, Mars being in Libra, that's the seventh house, house of relationships. A lot of work happening in the divine masculine energy. And, you know, we can look at that as a male, or we can look at it as the solar plexus chakra, where there's a lot of healing and upgrading and activating taking place within both twin flames in this union. But also divine masculine energy is going through like life review about all relationships in a really deep sense, in a way that probably they don't really want to feel, but it's just happening. It's the astrology. And so Venus, the divine feminine energy, she's moving out of relationship house. She's moving into the house of Scorpio. Major transformational energy, being in touch with herself, her divinity, her sexuality. Lots is going on for everybody, but for twin flames, I just feel this is a big like turning point and transition in your connection, in your union, whether you're together or separated. Okay, so let's start the reading off by seeing what exactly the Mars energy is bringing to twin flames through the rest of October. And Venus will be in Scorpio until October 31st. Okay. So Mars is coming through as Mars in Sagittarius energy, domination. All right, so the masculine energy is fighting this life review, you know, thinking about everything. And this is really where somebody is just like, they're haunted by it. They can't get away from it. They're just going to be flooded with all these memories of who they are, who they've been, but the way that it's coming back up into their conscious mind is attached with like an element of empathy, where the pain that they caused, they're feeling for themselves. Okay, so pains inflicted upon divine feminine as well as others is really being felt by the masculine energy, just like this review. Thinking about everything, and you know, there could be feelings of regret and remorse and sadness, and you know, that's part of the evolution. The divine masculine is being evolved. I love it. It feels so powerful, like this huge activation where really empowering that solar plexus chakra actually is getting divine masculine in tune with the sacral chakra. Okay, the feminine energy, the empathy, the compassion, the sensitivity, all of that in that sacral chakra. So by this receiving this upgrade, you know, it gets divine masculine more in tune with that feminine energy within himself. And that's how that empathy is coming through, where what he has done to others, and it's not even just what he's done, it's also what has been done to him. It's like just this big review, and he's really feeling it, like being very in touch with the emotional body, which you know, Some people are very in tune with the emotional body and some people aren't. Whether you are man or woman, it doesn't matter. I've seen it both ways. Some people are just very much comfortable with their emotions, understand them. Other people are like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. So divine masculine cannot escape that. So let's pull a card to see what the, Venus and her movement into Scorpio, what that's doing for twin flames. All right, so, oh yeah, I'm not surprised to see this. Detachment. This, this is coming through as Venus in Aquarius energy. So this is where divine feminine, she's not controlled by her emotions, okay? Where divine masculine is, I feel, getting very in tune with emotions. Divine feminine is separating herself, and her level of F off is gonna skyrocket, okay? It's like she's not, twin flame or not interested in sadness, being walked on, being used, being taken advantage of. None of that. She is very empowered within self, because even though divine masculine is, getting this activation upgrade to solar plexus, so is divine feminine, which is really empowering her, okay? So she's moving into a position of power, self-awareness, independence, where masculine is slipping into like sensitivity and empathy and connecting to emotional body and really feeling everything filtering through, and divine feminine is like, nope, I don't got time for that. It's about me. I'm independent. I can handle my business. Who needs love? I'm going to make my mark in this world. So very empowering to the divine feminine energy. So let's pull some cards and look at what's going on in your heart, mind, and soul, and what's going on in the heart, mind, and soul of the twin flame. And, you can, I'll do one side over here, one side over there. You decide which one is talking about you and your energy, and then obviously the other side would be your twin flame. So let's see what's going on, heart, mind, and soul. We got some bonus energies, I feel, that have to do with this Mars and Venus, because look, we've got two. So this is bonus to go with this Mars and Venus energy. Very nice. All right, and this one as well. In the heart space, we have a soulmate journey. In the mental body, 6 of ego energy, and I will explain all of this after I get it out. In the soul, sensitive masculine. Look at that. Imagine that. Okay? Sensitive masculine. Yes, the masculine doesn't have a chance in October. All right, on the other side of the reading, in the heart space, we have 9 of heart energy. In the mental body, we have 10 of twin flames. And at the soul, we have spiritually gifted feminine. Whoo, look at how perfect that played out. Okay, so we've got our masculine and our feminine right there. And the feminine, spiritually gifted feminine, is what's coming through. So with that energy right there, I know that the feminine in this reading, whether you're male or female, because some females are much more masculine and some males are much more feminine, and that's all fine with me. You truly decide where. Please don't get offended that I say feminine and masculine. It just makes it so much easier for me in the reading, okay? We have our feminine and we have our masculine, our couple. The feminine energy is spiritually gifted, very intuitive, very empathic, very sensitive, could be a medium, it could be a Reikiist, could be a different type of healer. There's just endless spiritual gifts, okay? And this could even be like artistically or singing even. The feminine energy, very in tune with her spirit, her soul, and the masculine in this connection, he sees that, he knows that, okay? But part of this Mars and Venus energy coming into twin flames is about the feminine through October really awakening to her spirituality, being more focused on that, really empowering her sacral chakra, which is our empathy center, okay? And in that space, it's so transformational for her. She's not focused on her masculine, whether we're in union or we're separated. It's all about spiritual growth for the feminine in twin flame unions. And I'm not surprised with that, because October the veil gets thinner and thinner, and we are so close to the spirit world, much closer than ever before or at any other time of the year. And so I'm not surprised that she's being so called to that and more focused on growing her spirituality, exploring her spirituality, working on healing herself, elevating herself. So I just see divine feminine energy so independent in October. And you come over to the masculine, here he is, feeling everything. And it's not just like it's like this ongoing story inside of him, okay? And it could be that he's replaying what the feminine did to him, just depending on how the relationship has worked out, what the feminine has done to him, what he's done to the feminine, and not just his twin flame here. It's like so many other connections throughout his life, friend, family, other romances, strangers with like a short conversation, but felt like he knew them his whole life. Like huge life review. And he's very detached while he's doing this, okay? So I'm feeling like this is the divine masculine energy and this is the divine feminine energy, all right? Just because this is the soul space, feminine, masculine. Here in the mental body, this is I'm watching from afar. I push you away, I'm distant from you, but I'm still watching everything you do very closely. And so if we're in union, this would be where the masculine energy is kind of feeling a bit detached, disconnected, distant, cranky, moody, all those things. And but it's not, even though he's like distant, he's still right there. Even if we're like separated, he's still watching like every move you make. Well, I shouldn't say every move you make, every move the feminine makes, okay? And here in the heart space, soulmate journey, there is like, he does not feel he belongs with any other feminine than this one coming through in the reading, okay? But he's going through a lot emotionally, and he's got to go through this purge. Mars is sitting in the house of Libra way longer than Venus was there. She's moving on to be transformed, strong, empowered in herself, phoenix rising from the ashes, okay? And the masculine, between now and like almost to the end of November, is having this emotional and relationship review. But throughout the whole process, the reason why I feel this soulmate journey is coming out is because through the process, this is his conclusion about this feminine. That's where I belong. Like, the connection that we share is something special, something magical. It puts me in a place of ease. And through all the review that he's going through here, it's like, oh, my mind always comes back to you, to this. If we're still in union, despite these weird mood swings, emotions that the masculine is going through, he has no intention of not being with this feminine. He's just got a lot to work out within himself. And now over here on the feminine side, in the heart space, 9 of heart energy, that's messages, that's communication. So either if we're in union, the feminine's really wishing, like, okay, can we break through this? Like, what's your distance and disconnection about? What are all these moods? Like, what's up with you? What's going on? What's going on? Like, she wants to communicate, all right? If we're separated, same thing. She wants to communicate. She wants to hear from this masculine big time. But in the mental body with the 10 of twin flames, she is feeling incredibly tested. Like, is this even worth it? whether we're together or apart. Like, she is feeling very tested with the 10 of twin flames coming out in the mental body. Like, are we truly compatible? Can we move through this? Are we ever going to get back together? Am I just stupid? Like, you know, there's all these things going on in her head, because despite how spiritually sensitive she may be, when it comes to this masculine, it's like she loses all her senses. Her compass breaks. Like, she doesn't know what's up from down. And she's in deep contemplation through October about the compatibility, the true compatibility with this twin flame, even if she loves him with her soul and, you know, doesn't really want to be with anybody else. The way that he is distant and pulling away kind of is testing her limits mentally, and she really wants to communicate, talk about this, work this out, like, what's going on, talk to me, let me help you, let me feel you, because masculine has a big wall up, all right, with this domination, like a big wall up. No, you're not going to see my emotions, you're not going to catch me being vulnerable, like a huge self-defense, protection, preservation. Not that the feminine would do any harm, but this like emotional energy in the masculine is so sensitive. He's guarding it and protecting it and hiding it with his life. Like, he's probably listening to sappy love songs as he falls asleep every night, crying his eyes out, holding his pillow, maybe even cuddling his cat or his friend's cat, like, oh, you know, but he's not going to tell anybody that. Like, he's like, no, this is going to just pass. Like, I'm just feeling sad. Like, it's going to pass. It's going to pass. And he's keeping it like all bottled up inside. Eventually the dam is going to break. So if we're in union, he's going to eventually spill to his feminine and just put it all out there and let her know. If we're separated, you know, with the heart energy there, perhaps by the time Mars moves into Scorpio as well, there may be a major transformation in him, and that's when we finally have communication. He is watching from afar, okay? And with 10 of twin flames, the feminine energy, like, is completing some sort of lesson that's attached to this twin flame union. She is definitely evolving and growing, okay? I feel masculine is receiving like activations to get him more in tune with his emotional body, better balance in between his sacral and solar plexus chakra, okay? Maybe even opening up that heart chakra a little bit. And the feminine over here, it's like she's receiving that activation, but there's also this really nice evolution and transformation taking place inside of her. She's learned a lesson here that's attached to this twin flame union. And it's like, you know, usually in twin flame readings, not always, but oftentimes it's like the feminine energy feels like very sad. You know, it does not feel like the one who's in control, or it's always like a lot of confusion in the feminine energy, and the masculine just being very, you know, closed, whatever. And now it's like feminine is like, has all the power, has all that control. And even if she's not talking to this masculine, she does not, I don't want to say she doesn't care, but as Venus moves through Scorpio, she is transforming. She is becoming incredibly powerful within herself. And even though like she has a love and connection to this masculine, it's like, I'm okay on my own if this never even comes back into my world. Like, oh gosh, this is such an awakening to one's divinity and self-worth and value. And it like, oh, it's so beautiful. This spiritually gifted energy could also be talking about this awakening that the feminine is experiencing. And she doesn't seem so concerned with the masculine. Yeah, I want to talk, even if we're in union, like, what's your deal? Like, open up to me. But she is so focused on herself and her growth and like this evolution that she's working on, because she has learned a major life lesson, and it's attached to this twin flame union. So let's look right here and see, you know, what these bonus cards were. So for the masculine energy, we have the feminine of karmic energy. So some of you who are separated, this right here is something masculine is really struggling with. If he went off with another feminine and, you know, left you behind or chose somebody over you, there's major regret about that now. Definitely. Like, he's fighting himself. Doesn't want to be wrong. Doesn't want to admit that maybe I made the wrong choice here. No, but he will come to that conclusion. And the feminine, Venus, look at this, 6 of Twin Flames. Now, detachment. So this is Venus saying, hey, masculine, until you can meet me in this space right here, don't even try. Like, just be gone with yourself. Like, this is what I require. This connection, this understanding. Meet me in this space or be gone. Because 6 of Twin Flames is like that full-on recognition, and that's coming out under detachment. Okay, so it's like divine feminine isn't playing around anymore. Like, oh, I love how empowered she's becoming. And look at this, 8 of Twin Flames. So to me, this is talking about, like, whether we're in union or we're separated, there is a point where your energies perfectly and beautifully align and you have the same hopes, goals, desires, wishes. You're on the same page with each other, okay? And this might come about more, you know, in November or December, when Mars has, you know, made some progress through Scorpio, and you know, the transformation, all this review going on for Mars in the house of Libra, and then once he moves into Scorpio, being able to take all of that information and use it to transform himself. And something about that really puts you guys in a much better alignment energetically, vibrationally, where you're more on the same page and the emotions are much more equal as well. It's not where one person is like fully awakened to the connection and the other person is asleep. No, this is equal, where whether you think of it as twin flames or soulmates or your person or the love of your life, like, do you see what's depicted here? Like, this is two people that are on the exact same page in that space of love, of connection, and equally wanting it, equally respecting and honoring each other. So it looks like for some twin flames who are separated, there's this karmic energy that has to be worked through. It's showing on the divine masculine side, okay? And then on the feminine side, it's like, you get it together or I don't have time for you. Now, if we're in union, it is a bit of a different message. Like, I really do see, like, hey, open up to me, talk to me, tell me what's going on, like, let's work through this. But at the same time, it's like, okay, whatever. It's just so focused on self, on transformation. Like, okay, I'll put this off to the back burner. You know, I'll bring this up in a couple more weeks if things haven't changed. That type of energy, because something within her soul is just calling her. I don't know if it's like the first spiritual awakening, if she's awakening to her spiritual gifts for the first time, if this activation isn't just putting her back in alignment, perfect alignment with her sacral and solar plexus chakra, but it's like she is so strong and focused on herself, okay? And the reason why I say that is because, and I am guilty of this myself, is so many females out there, like, they lose sight of themselves in a romantic connection or even in motherhood, right? Because it's just ingrained to nurture, to care for, to protect, all those things. And it's so easy to lose yourself. And honestly, you know, I feel like that's why Spirit didn't have me really dive into all of this until after my kids were just about grown, because I would have had there was nothing left of me after my family. Like, I was so entrenched in that I didn't know the difference between me and my kids and my partner. Like, I had no identity outside of that. And once the relationship ended and the kids grew up, that was a huge shocker for me. So, you know, I know there's a lot of feminines out there that can resonate with that. And so that is why I love to see this empowerment in the feminine energy, where she has remembered who she is and she knows where, you know, she ends and family and romance and work and everything else begins. Like, just such beautiful awareness of self, empowerment, putting the boundaries. Like, man, she has learned. Oh, feminines, look at that energy. All right, I'm sorry for any masculines who are watching this and, you know, you're like, no, I resonate over here. That's totally fine. You very well may, all right? But for the sake of the reading, just the way the cards came out, that's how I'm reading it. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card to see primary energy between you and the twin flame. Okay, same mistake. Yeah. Feminine is not tolerating. Nope. She seriously, it's like she has put her foot down and she's not making the same mistake again. She just absolutely isn't. She has learned, and I don't know why I feel so excited about this. I think maybe some of you who are watching this have really been in the struggle to understand, to gain your independence and, you know, recognize who you are all on your own. And because essentially at the end of the day, we are our own soulmate, right? We are with ourselves 24/7 all year long for our whole lives. And if we can't love ourselves and learn how to be okay in our own energy, you know, it's a huge struggle. And I've gone through that, and so many people go through that, not just feminines. There's even, you know, men who are just so immersed into their family, into their partnerships, into their life, that they lose sight as well as where do I end and everything else begins, just because they're so immersed. And this person was that energy coming through in this reading, but no more. Like, so much has been learned and gained by her, and she is evolving and expanding, and she is strong, and she's not putting up with it. She will not be a revolving door. You're back and forth, not anymore. It's not going to happen. Like, grow up and be my partner, or just be gone with yourself. I will always feel our connection in my soul, and I've come to terms with that. You'll always be with me, whether you are physically in my life or not. Like, that's where she's at, and that might make his head spin. Like, whoa, I've always had the upper hand, and now she's okay without me. Like, what? You know, and maybe for some of you in union, this incredible strength in the feminine, that might be what's kind of pushing the masculine away, or I shouldn't say pushing him away, but where he's kind of like blocking and closing off and still watching really close. Like, why are you so strong? Not in a negative sense, but like, what's going on? You know, are you not interested, or are you trying to like change who you are to find somebody else? Am I about to be like kicked to the curb? Like, what is going on? Because it's a total change where, you know, I'm just going to give like a very generic example. I'm not picking up on it in the reading, but just to really help you understand what I mean by this. So let's just say this is a feminine who goes to work, okay? She's at work all day. She comes home, picks up the kids, makes dinner, helping with homework, trying to pick up the house, get things in order, lunch is packed, all those things. And, you know, let's say this is a union of twin flames where we're still together. So, you know, that's her normal life. Well, it might be where she comes home and she's like, okay, look, I'm not making dinner every night. You're going to start making it on these days, because I'm going to start taking a yoga class on this night, and then I'm going to start going out and having dinner with my girlfriends once a week. Okay, like, it's that type of energy where before I'm 100% in this at all times and there's nothing left for me, and now she's like, no more. She's putting boundaries with her partner, with her children, with her family, with her friends, like really defining herself and making time for herself. Whereas before, I don't feel like that was going on with the feminine energy. So those feminines out there who have felt very disempowered and just like this was all bigger than you and you were never going to overcome it, didn't have the strength to, you know, really put your foot down, whether in union or separated, that's all changing, because through all this challenge, again, there was life lessons being learned through this twin flame union, whether together or apart at this point in time, and feminine has learned them, and now she's evolving. She's not going to make the same mistake, absolutely not, which I think is kind of a catalyst of what's now taking place in the masculine. And he's really getting in tune with his feminine energy. I mean, we have sensitive masculine right there. So let's pull some tarot cards. Judgment. Yeah, look, it is time for change and transformation. No question. Ten of Swords. Yep, I'm done being used, abused, walked on, hurt, sad. No more, says the feminine or the masculine. You know, if you're resonating on that side of the reading, this is like, I am done. I am done with it with this Ten of Swords. Never again. Same mistake, no more. Next out is Nine of Wands. Long, long journey this has been. Five of Wands. Could be some strife, some argument, some inner conflict by the feminine becoming so empowered and strong. And Ace of Cups, look at that. Oh, I love it. Yeah, feminine. How deep is your love? Okay, because I feel like the tables are turning, okay? Just whoever's story this is coming through, I feel the feminine was always like chasing after the masculine or really doing, giving, being, and now it's like the table is turning. She's very empowered and strong. She has become quite aware of herself. She's learned many, many lessons. Lots is changing within the her soul space. And ultimately, look at this. I feel Ace of Cups coming out at the very end is through this powerful transformation and empowerment of the divine feminine. It actually is like very attractive and alluring to the masculine, whereas before she's always very soft, very giving and nurturing. Now she's kind of cold and hard, and he has to work for it, and he will. Do you see that? All right, feminines, don't be afraid to put your foot down and demand what is yours, and be afraid, well, I don't want to rock the boat, or I don't want to, totally push somebody away from me. No, you deserve what you deserve. And this Venus moving into Scorpio, like I said, the F off level of the feminine is like, whoop, where before that really wouldn't come out of her mouth. But now it's like the smallest thing. All right, done. I don't have time for this. Like, you get it together, act right, or just don't even bother me. She might even like, man, the feminine might even, if the masculine's like trying to come back in, she might be like, I don't got time for all that. You're just going to be the same thing over and over again, which maybe that's the catalyst that makes him really try for the feminine, okay? In union, what I feel here going on here is in the heart space, how she's desiring, well, what's going on? Let's communicate. Let's talk. It does happen in October. Okay. So those of you in union, you guys are going to talk, get everything worked out, and definitely be in this energy by the end of the month. And those of you who are separated, this could also happen as well. I'm feeling, for some, this energy definitely moves out through November to December, just based on Mars's actual movement, and once he gets into Scorpio, how things change a bit. But yeah, I don't know, this feminine becoming quite empowered and strong is actually very sexy and attractive and appealing to the masculine. Like, he kind of likes her cold energy. Which is quite odd, right? But man, that's what I'm getting. That's what is coming out. So let's pull some more cards. All right, under Judgment is the Two of Cups. Yeah, you be the real deal or don't be anything at all. Ten of Wands under Ten of Swords. Yup. You know what? We have the two hourglasses there, and now these two tens. I would say for sure the feminine has learned some serious lessons through this connection. And it's not to say that the masculine energy hasn't also learned. He definitely has, but it's like the feminine is coming into the expansion of those lessons learned sooner than the masculine is, at least based on this reading. Okay. Under the Nine of Wands, we have the Nine of Cups. Nice. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is some earth energy coming out. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. And lastly, the Moon. Could have a Pisces or Cancer as well. Listen, whether near or far, this masculine is thinking about this feminine. Like, there is no question in my mind. If we're together, he's very curious, like, what's going on with her, because he's recognizing a lot of different changes in her, but also he's going through some stuff emotionally. He's feeling really sensitive and sappy. Like, he might be feeling like the feminine in the relationship in October. Okay, those who are in union. And again, those of you who are separated, masculine is going through that emotional review, really thinking about things, and you know, soulmate journey being in his heart space for this feminine. He really feels like he belongs with her. We have the Two of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Two of Cups under the Judgment. So it's like, yeah, I feel like you are where I belong. Feminine feels the same, but she's not putting up with crap. It's like, I will walk my path alone, and you know, if you just want to play games and be stupid, I'm just fine being alone. You've left me alone for too damn long that I've realized that I'm okay on my own. Like, you're bad. Like, that's where she's at. And, you know, he needs that, though. I do feel for some of you separated, he does need that, because sometimes when somebody feels like they have too much control or power, they take advantage of it, right? But he's just going through so much emotionally, being, I feel like, convicted, like convicting himself, feeling really ashamed and remorseful for different lies he's told, you know, get different games he's played in all relationships. And, you know, every single one of us has not been 100% true partner in some relationship or another in our lives. Like, that is just the truth. You know, we're all young and experiencing love, you know, late teens, early 20s, and we're not very intelligent about things. You know, at that time, we're learning, we're growing, we're experiencing. And, you know, it's not to say through 30s, 40s, or 50s that mistakes cannot be made either. But my point is when people are like, I never, I'm like, I don't believe you. We've all, every one of us, because we all make mistakes in love and in romance, and that's how we grow and we learn and we change. Some people, you know, don't. They learn how to manipulate, use, and take advantage, unfortunately. But what I see going on here is everything, you know, is coming back to this masculine emotionally. Any heartache that he has caused another, he is now feeling in return, okay? And in that space, it allows him to empathize. It allows him to grow and to learn and to see things from a different perspective. And, you know, we all go through those experiences in our life where things return to us and we have this life review going on with the Judgment, you know. I mean, that's just another confirmation that poor masculine's going through that. But in that space, like, you know, we see things so differently about ourselves when spirit, I don't know how spirit does it, but it just like changes our eyes and our perception, and we see ourselves in a different light. And if we've always felt like a victim, it's like we see the other side of like what really motivated the person who harmed us. And it's like, doesn't make excuse, but sometimes when you can see like what exists in another person and what causes them to act and behave the way they do, it's like very healing, because it allows you to no longer personalize their behavior and realize, oh my God, like that's a wound that is a festering deep inside of them, and that's why they behave as such and act out as such. And so it just, that's healing. That is very healing to be able to understand from that level. And again, it does not excuse bad behavior whatsoever. But when you can feel somebody else and truly empathize in that space, you know you are an empath, all right? When somebody has harmed you and hurt you, and you can still go around to the other side and see from their eyes and understand why they did what they did, that is a true empathic ability. Every human is capable of it, but most of us don't live our lives that way from day to day. But in these moments of judgment from spirit, when it's time to really expand and evolve and receive all the wisdom of the lessons of the journey that we've been on. You know, we're going to feel things like that. And that's where this masculine's at. He's feeling a lot of things in his empathy center, the way that he caused heartache for others, but also for him, where he has been harmed, he has been hurt, where he can go see from the other perspective and understand why that person did what they did to him. Again, doesn't excuse their behavior, but it's going to help him let go of some of his own emotional baggage and evolve and expand and grow as well, and become much more sensitive and thoughtful to his feminine. And what's sad is oftentimes the person that knows us the most, that we can be the most vulnerable with, it's like that's the one we attack, right? And that goes both ways. And so I think this masculine, there's some element of that towards this feminine, where it's like so close, and he can be so vulnerable and open that even he really blurs those boundaries, and, you know, seeks the feminine as his support, but also almost like, you know, he takes things out on her as well. And maybe that's something where she's just like, I'm not tolerating that anymore whatsoever. But man, this is a pretty deep and intense reading, and masculine is growing and reflecting and feeling things in his empathy center, and feminine is coming into all the wisdom and expansion because she has really learned some lessons along this journey. I feel like masculine has as well, but his full like realization of that I feel comes more about in November rather than October, just based on Mars's movement. So what I'm going to do here is, these are heart and soul messages, the unspoken messages, and I'm going to pull 3 different stacks to kind of, you know, oh, all right, so this is for everybody, to make it, all right, so is that, to make it more personalized, all right? So these are unspoken words from your twin flame, whether in union or separated, to help you understand, you know, the energy between the two of you. All right, so here is 1, 2, and 3. So decide which one is your twin flame. Now, the cards that jumped out, I haven't learned from our experiences. I will only hurt you again. I'm enchanted by you. It prevents me from being authentic with you. Okay, so for some of you, this may be the messages from your twin flame, is, you know, until Mars is starting to move into Scorpio and really transforming, you know, this masculine energy. Because, you know, and I say masculine just based on how this reading went to what has flown out here. You know, if that's the case, if this is resonating with you, because I'm very enchanted by you, it prevents me from being authentic with you. This is where there's a lot of physical attraction, and, you know, you may feel that, well, you're only interested in me for one thing, because that seems to be the main attraction to this feminine by this masculine. All right, but the truth is, like, the soul connection is there. It's right there, because we got a soul and an ego, but the ego is very much blocking that connection. All right, I haven't learned from my experiences, not right now, not as we do this reading, but as, you know, Mars moves through Libra, gets into Scorpio, it's like that we're learning, we're really wising up, and things are changing inside the masculine. Okay, so some of you, that could be a specific message from your masculine, and maybe one of these isn't, but overall it's like, I feel it's just talking about where the masculine's at. Like, this is what he is overcoming through October and November, and he's gonna come into a different version of himself as well. He's being very convicted inside emotionally, especially with judgment, and judgment even falls on his side. All right, so those of you, this is the first set of heart and soul messages, so let's take a look. Heart, there is so much I didn't say. I held it all in. It haunts me often. That's pretty powerful with this entire reading. Next out is their tribe, we miss you. So when their tribe comes out, that's people attached to your twin flame. This is obviously, you know, twin flame that feels separated. Their friends, their family very much miss you as you may miss them, okay? So you're not forgotten. And lastly, soul, my perception is beginning to change. Give me time to grow. Yes. Yes. So this first set of cards is so 100% on point with this whole reading. That's coming straight from the heart and soul of your twin flame, okay? And it really feels like separated twin flames right there, but so beautiful. All right, let's move on to the second set here. We have a heart message. I write messages to you. I just don't know how to send them. Okay, and look at feminine really wants to communicate. And, you know, this could be feminine saying, I send messages, but I don't know how to send them. Or this could be masculine saying this. But, you know, there's a confirmation for some of you. Next message is ego, I'm deceptive. I even lie to myself. I have a lot of inner work to do, and that's what's taking place right now, whether it's wanted or not. And lastly is ego, I take advantage and I use people. You are not the only one. I have done this too. So yeah, this to me is going back to the masculine energy where we're about to be very convicted and we're going to feel things very empathetically of every single person that we may have hurt or harmed, taken advantage of, all of those things. So this second pile, this person has a lot of growth that's going to take place over October and November. And this may, if we're separated from each other, this right here may be more of a longer disconnection. Like this energy feels, if we're separated, like we're getting back together very soon. Okay, if we're in union, you know, by the end of October, you guys have it figured out and you're in this very aligned energy with each other. Whereas over here, it's like it feels like it's going to take a bit more time for somebody to really take ownership of their self, their behavior, and allow the expansion and transformation that needs to take place within, okay? So last pile, soul, I'm recharging my spiritual batteries right now. Your tribe, emotional attachment is blinding you. So this is people who are close to you and they feel like your attachment to this twin flame is like you're very blinded by it. And lastly, ego. I have emotional baggage and I am not over some part of my past. Okay, so this one here, I feel this person is probably, you know, the most harmed, has had a lot of really heavy things happen to them in their life. And so they have a lot of emotional work to do, a lot of healing to do. So it's like, this here is like, I feel we're gonna like be back together definitely by the end of the year, or if we're in union by the end of October, you guys are gonna have this weirdness figured out. This here looks like it could push longer than that, and then this is like gonna take the most time. All right, and I didn't expect timing to come out through these messages, but I honestly feel that like this is all better together by the end of the year. This one I would say give it all the way until like maybe June of next year, and this like at least a year, okay? Because this person, you know, what they have to work through is a lot. And now, you know, doesn't mean that you guys can't work through it together, okay? Because maybe some of you are in union, but this is going to take a long time for this person to heal from the inside out. This person, it's like they're on the end of that journey, okay? This person is barely beginning the journey of healing. And now remember, these messages are from your twin flame. So you're watching this video, these aren't what's coming from your heart and soul, it's from your twin flame's heart and soul. And so, I wish they were all like as good as this one, but you know, it lets you know what's going on in the emotional body. And this person, I really feel had some serious like abuse in upbringing, and that's a big reason why they come and run away. They come and they run away. They get close, they pull back. They get close, they pull back. They've gone through some serious trauma, and maybe that's why the feminine has, you know, tried to be patient, but no more. It's like it doesn't matter what's going on. Feminine energy, very empowered, very strong, very independent in October. Masculine becoming, it's almost like they're switching roles. Like feminine is becoming the solar plexus chakra and masculine is becoming the sacral chakra in twin flame unions. Like that's where the work is taking place, the activation, the upgrade, receiving it in both. But man, feminine getting very empowered and independent, and masculine becoming very in touch and in tune with his heart space and his behavior and his actions and his empathy center. Like that's a big thing. Like his empathy center is really opening up, and that might be a lot for a masculine to take in. All right, but separated, definitely watching you from afar. You know, no question there. Okay, so those are your twin flame messages for October 2019. I am wishing you guys all the very best. Take care.